Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show that shall not be named. Today I wanted to draw an 80s TV set with a skull coming out of it and some stuff. I don't know, that was my idea, so I'm sketching out a TV set here. I'm drawing the bunny ears, antennas, and then here I'm turning it into, those are like vacuum tubes kind of, and I'm doing all the greeblies and gibbets and whoozy whatsits and whatnots here. I'm just starting with the pencil, sketching everything out. I decided to call it the Ultra Futuristic TV Death Machine. It's my official title. We'll see if that works for the YouTube thumbnail or not. I might change the title and the thumbnail if it performs like crap, but we'll see. Here I'm coming through. More little tech bits everywhere. I was going for that retro futuristic sort of, cyberpunk type stuff. And here I'm sketching out the skull. I wanted him to have kind of like glowing eyes, so I kept him, round like headlights or something, I guess. And I'm just sketching in the teeth and everything. This drawing took quite a bit longer than a lot of my drawings do, so I'm a little out of it right now. I think it was like 4.5 hours, which, for this level of detail is not too bad, I suppose. Here I'm sketching in kind of a mutated, like, lower jaw. They're just kind of like half cups, half cylinders, I guess, and then now I'm drawing teeth on there. Going through, giving him that summer teeth, Summer teeth, some ain't. Is that how that goes? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But for this one, I really wished I had a 4K camera instead of just 1080p. By the way, if you are watching this and you can't make out the line work, go to the little gear icon. Maybe you know this already, maybe you don't, but you can go to the little gear icon and you can change it to 1080p, which is what I upload in. I know YouTube, for me anyways, they'll just show it in 720 on my TV or if I got to watch something. So if it's got a lot of detail or whatever, I have to go in and manually change it to 1080p. So if you can't make out something, that might be what's going on. Otherwise, I need a 4K camera. And if you are frustrated trying to see the line work, consider going over to my Patreon. And someday maybe I'll be able to afford a 4K camera. So I'm coming through with the extra fine to start the line work for this one because of that, because it was super detailed. Like I feel like I drew this one half the size it should have been. But I decided to start with the fine or the extra fine line, and I think that was a good choice. It let me get all the little tiny details in there without anything, bleeding together, smudging, not smudging, but like, the lines where sometimes they'll like close up if they're too big next to each other. That makes sense? That makes sense. Makes sense to me. I don't know. Anyway, so starting with the extra fine. This has the Noodlers black in it. And I'm just going through outlining everything, getting all those little contour lines, tracing out all the little dealy boppers and gibbets and whatnot. And then here I'm doing a little bit of the hatching. I was starting to kind of get confused with what was overlapping what, and so I just decided to knock out a little bit of the hatching to help differentiate what was behind and in front, and yeah, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. I don't know why, but I really love drawing these like 80s TV sets. It's something I haven't done on the channel yet, but I don't know. It's just, I'm just like fascinated. Because this is the kind of TV set we had when I was a kid, you know, the tube with you had to go change the channel with the knob, and God, I'm ancient. But, yeah, I remember flat screens and HD and all that stuff. Oh my God, I sound like an old man. I remember when all this junk came out. No, it's not what I mean. But yeah, it's just super nostalgic. So that's why I like drawing it. It's probably not nostalgic for a lot of people, but it's also a good way to do retrofuturism correctly. You see a lot of people like the Fallout video games drive me crazy because they just do not understand what retrofuturism is. Like the first two video games, the isometric ones, they got it, they nailed it, knocked it out of the park. But then Bethesda took it over, and they just have no grasp of what retrofuturism is. It feels like, to me anyways. It's like, the idea of the future from a past perspective, if that makes sense. So that's what I was going for here, the idea of the future from an 80s perspective. So that's why it's the tube TV. It's, I don't know. I think that's what cyberpunk is, right? For me anyways. So I did a bunch of the hatching in the skull to get the contrasts with the eyes, because I want the eyes glowing, right? So I decided to just knock out the hatching in the skull to kind of set a value that I could base everything else off of, if that makes sense. And then I'm coming through, adding even more greeblies. I go bonkers with the greeblies in this one, and it's just piles of, these are supposed to be like vacuum tubes here. It's just piles of tubes and gizmos and whatnot. And I'm just making it up. It's doodles or automatic drawing, whatever you want to call it. But with intention. I talk about that probably too much on this channel. But yeah, and then here I'm coming through lining out the bunny ears antennas. I was contemplating putting foil, because we used to do that. We'd put like a ball or like make a little flag out of like, aluminum foil to quote unquote help it get better reception. I don't think it actually worked. It was just more of a psychosomatic type of thing, but I didn't end up adding it on there. I kind of ran out of space at the top. You'll see I rearranged the direction of the antennas a couple times before I landed on where they are now. And then, yeah, I'm coming through adding bunches of tubes. I like doing the kind of flat tubes, if that makes sense. You'll see them down connecting to the jaw in the bottom section there. It's almost like a tube, but it's like a rectangular tube or whatever, kind of flattened out. Those are a lot of fun to do. You can kind of get these like cool, like S shape, like snaking them around, S curve type of, oh geez. My brain's like having a meltdown here. Just forgot how to talk. But yeah, lots of that kind of stuff. I did one of the spheres. Those are really cool. I've been kind of obsessed with those since I did one on the space whale. And just trying to replicate that sort of, I don't know, just big like cybertech ball, I guess. I think I originally got the idea from Akira, if you check out the manga, there's like the cryo storage containment unit or whatever is like this big sphere with like tubes sticking out of it in every which direction. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. And then here I'm starting on the hatching. I'm coming through and just doing single pass hatching. This whole thing actually ends up mostly being single pass hatching again. I think I've been experimenting with cross hatching and stuff like that lately, and it's just reinforced that I like doing the single pass hatching. So, but there's a time and a place for cross hatching for me too. Some people, they're just amazing at cross hatching, but I don't think my brain works that way or something. I don't know. But I do like using cross hatching, and I use it a little bit in here just to I like to use it very sparingly to make certain parts of the drawing have a little more contrast. And you'll see like right under the cheekbones on the skull and, on the bezel around where the screen should be, I'll do a little bit of contrast or a little bit of cross hatching just to add some more contrast. And then here I'm coming through with the fine nib with platinum carbon. This is the first appearance of that pen so far. And I'm doing peripheral line work, but it's not solely around the outside edge. I'm going around the outside edge of certain objects I'm picking out, right? So like the jaws will have an outline around them, and then individual like little greeblies and, devices and stuff, they'll all have their own kind of outline just to give it like certain pieces some pop, like make these tubes on the side stand out from the stuff in front or from the stuff behind them was the idea. And I think it worked great. I was just going through and like picking stuff that I want to stand out. Yeah, see here, I'm doing it around the ball and the tube there. But then, leaving other parts just with the thin line. And I just was kind of eyeballing this. I didn't really have too much of a method. I mean, there's a method to it. It's just the stuff I wanted to stand out. The parts that I thought should have more contrast, if that makes sense. Like the antennas were kind of getting lost in the texture there, and then some of this stuff. I think it worked really great. And I'm coming through, and then around the eyes there, just made them pop out so much more. And then, I'm coming through doing some hatching on some of the little bits of tech here. And then I started doing some of the background in there and then stopped myself because I kind of had an idea for some horizontal hatching that I was going to do through the whole background. And so I wanted to wait to start on the background too much before I messed that up for myself. So, and here you can see I'm coming through with the cross hatching to give those sections just a little bit more contrast and shape and like make it stand out from, just the single pass hatching on the top and the side here that I do. Here I'm coming through drawing the border. I love these little rectangles. Then I have the drawing come out of it. I think it just gives it so much like pop. And then, so this is like one of those like retro sort of background. You see a lot of people do it. It's like this like lines that get closer and closer together. I don't know what it's called, but it's in a lot of that 80s and 90s like retro looking stuff. So I figured I'd do my pen and ink version of that. And I'm really happy I tried it out because it actually looks really cool. I might start doing it in some more drawings. So yeah, just having the lines space out a little bit more. And then I added some horizontal lines. These are just like, I'm not drawing every single line in pencil. I'm just drawing a bunch of horizontal lines close together so I have a guide to go off of. And then here I decided they were spaced out a little too much, so I just kind of doubled them up a little bit there. And yeah, there he is, the ultra futuristic TV death machine. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you to my patrons on Patreon. I will see you all in the next one. All right, bye.